is going on with the Golden State Warriors. Is any other Golden State Warriors fan thinking this at this exact moment after the Warriors lost last night to the Timberwolves 114-110 after some crazy choices made by Steve Kerr, keeping Steph Curry on the bench? What the hell is happening? With 12 games left in the regular season for the Golden State Warriors, the Rockets are now one game behind 10th place and could secure a play-in spot ahead of the Warriors, and they could miss the playoffs altogether. On Warriors Today by Chat Sports, that's exactly what we're going to be breaking down today. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and I have one question for you guys before I dive into all the stats, all the facts, and all the figures. Are you worried about the Warriors making the play-in? I know this has not been a picture-perfect season for the Warriors, but for the second half of the season, they seem to really be finding their stride, their consistency. However, they can't seem to stay consistent with winning ball games. Go ahead and comment Y for yes, N for no if you guys are worried for the Golden State Warriors even having a chance at the postseason. A lot of players and coaches seem like they're looking forward to the future, but the regular season isn't over yet. So let's break down what happened in the Warriors game versus the Grizzlies last night. With 4 minutes, Timberwolves. With 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Curry was subbed out. Okay, the Warriors had a 4-point lead, 69-65. Now in the fourth quarter, Steph Curry did not return until less than 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Look at that score, 97-89. They obviously blew this lead with Steph Curry out, and Kerr still did not put him in. Now with 8 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Klay Thompson had a chance to get the game-tying three-point shot up, which I think was an absurd choice because he went 3 for 11, 27% from a three-point line. You're trusting Klay Thompson, not Steph Curry, who I do want to point out was in the ball game, and the rest is history, 114-110. Curry played 30 minutes versus the Timberwolves. This is now the second time since the All-Star break he has played 30 minutes or less. This should not be happening, Steve Kerr. It really should not, with so many things on the line. I get it. You want to rest him. I get it. It's not all up to Curry. But it kind of is. He's your franchise player. He has been for the last decade. Why in the hell are you not trusting him in the fourth quarter to help you get a must-win game? Steph Curry's wondering the exact same thing. After the game in the press conference, he did say, I want to play as many minutes as I'm fresh and able to. So I'm a little bit surprised knowing that the Wolves were going on a run. Our lead was withering away. I played the whole fourth quarter against Indiana. It didn't work out. This didn't work out against Minnesota. We've got to find somewhere in the middle. So clearly, Curry's saying, look, I played every single second of the fourth quarter versus the Pacers. We lost. I played half the fourth quarter versus the Timberwolves, and we lost. So Steve Kerr now needs to be the coach that he just signed a 2-year contract extension for and play the right players. This excuse, and this is an excuse to me after the game, we cannot always rely on Steph Curry, is bullshit. You have relied on Steph Curry for the last decade. Steph Curry just helped you get 4 rings. And I understand that there are 14 other players on that roster. However, Steph Curry is a once-in-a-generational player, and you have him on the bench. So the fact that there are 12 games left means that Steve Kerr and Steph Curry need to sit down and figure out what is going to be the best solution to make sure they do not lose a must-win game again. Shams Charania also commented on what happened last night and said, look, by Steve Kerr keeping Steph Curry on the bench, I think that was a shot to the rest of the team. It was like these guys need to step up. I feel like there have been 10,000 different messages to the Warriors players this season that if it has not been read yet, I do not know when they are going to understand this message. I completely get it. It is not all on Steph Curry's shoulders. It wasn't all on Klay Thompson's shoulders to make that game-tying shot. Obviously, a lot of stuff could have happened in that entire game. However, with Steph Curry being one of the best players, if not the best player, on the Golden State Warriors, why would you not trust him to help your team win? It's make or break time, Steve Kerr. There is no more figuring out. There is no more trial runs or figuring out who works with who. You have got to win every single game from here on out if you want a chance at making it in the playoffs, because they are currently on the brink of missing the play-in tournament, and now it's time to lean on Steph Curry more than ever. If I had to lean on any specific Golden State Warriors. So with that being said, after they lost now 2 must-win games against the Pacers and the Timberwolves, and credit to those teams, they're still in the NBA. They're actually in the top 5 of the NBA. So I do think that they are still good programs. And it's hard for the Warriors to beat them. But the choices they're making are not helping. So now my confidence level in the Warriors has gone down significantly. How confident am I in the Warriors? I'm probably giving it a 6 at this point. I don't trust Steve Kerr to make these choices right now. I don't know what the hell he was doing with Steph Curry last night. And now, when you finally have things figured out, playing Wiggins with Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga and a bunch of other things that fell into place, you're still screwing it up. Comment your scale 1 to 10 down below, with 1 being absolutely not making the playoffs. I do not trust them. 10 being I have the utmost faith, because next we're going to break down Golden State Warriors play-in chances. We're going to break down what the Houston Rockets' next 5 games look like, what the Warriors' next 5 game looks like, and one former NBA player, now current NBA analyst, has to say about the Warriors' play-in chances. But I do want to take this quick break to give a shout-out, a huge shout-out, to PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America and a sponsor here at Chat Sports. I've been playing PrizePicks since way before they became a sponsor, but it was just like the cherry on top. This is the best month ever in terms of hoops season. I know football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for March Madness, all you guys have to do is go to PrizePicks and you can make your locks for NBA and college basketball right now. For tonight's games, of course, I do have Jaylen Brown having more than 24.5 points. I personally love the Demons. Those are a little bit harder stat lines, but a lot bigger payouts. So, of course, I'm always chasing the bag here. Tatum to have at least 1 dunk. I love Jason Tatum, a nice little fast break, slam it down, so I could deal with Jason Tatum having 1. And then I do have De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Maxey to have combined 6 3-pointers made. These are 2 of some of the best guards right now for the NBA, so I think they could definitely get it done. But all you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money. Plus, you can play alongside some favorite celebrities of yours like Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley. You can find them in the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries for some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. Go on ahead and test your skills right now by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS using promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. You want to know what's not easy for the Warriors right now? Clinching that play-in spot. Here's the NBA playoff picture. Shout out to Patrick Seatman for working hard on this graphic for us to be able to show you guys. So this is the Western Conference right now, okay? 3 games, 3 teams have been eliminated so far from the playoffs, and it is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies, the Blazers, and the Spurs. However, the Warriors are currently in last place in the play-in. As you can see, the Rockets are 1 game behind right now with a record of 35-35. They have been going insane for the second half of this season. And last night, after they lost to the Timberwolves, the Warriors did, they asked Steph Curry, what does it mean now that the Rockets are kind of creeping back up and may take your play-in spot? Well, Steph Curry gave a very Steph Curry answer. Every game matters. We're inching closer to the other end of the standings. Now, here's Draymond Green's answer to that same question. I don't think we have great habits right now. We're a very quiet team. I don't give a damn about the Rockets. These were all 3 different answers that he said, all kind of sporadically, but pretty much summing up that there are 2 very different levels of confidence right now with these Warriors. Steph Curry giving you the grade A, type A of player response. Every game matters. We've got to keep pushing. Nothing is safe. To Draymond Green saying our habits suck. We're quiet. We're not making any noise. I don't give a shit about anybody who's on our ass. Well, the Rockets care, and the Rockets are coming. I really feel like every single player on the Warriors has a different perspective on what this season means. And quite frankly, it just looks like they're playing like they don't care right now. Plus, with the Rockets' next 5, this is a really big chance for the Warriors to get some games back. The Rockets don't have a very easy schedule coming up. Now, the Blazers and the Jazz, yes, they could possibly win those games if they have won. They have lost their combined last 11 games. The Thunder, that's going to be a really tough matchup to win. The Mavericks as well, and the Timberwolves, who barely just beat the Warriors. I think those are 3 games the Rockets could possibly lose, while the Warriors also kind of have a semi-tough schedule but could still come out on top. They've got a really injured Miami Heat coming up. The Orlando Magic, who also really fell off in the Eastern Conference. You got the Charlotte Hornets, who aren't even in the playoffs this year. The Mavericks, the Spurs, who you just split a series with. I think they could probably win 3 out of these 5 games if they play their cards right and make the right choices. Paul Pierce was on Undisputed on Fox Sports, and he said a comment that I really liked here. Not so much putting any of the blame on any certain player, but maybe just one coach. When you look at what the Warriors have done this year, Paul Pierce pointed out that Chris Paul started 14 games this year, then he got moved to the bench. Klay Thompson started 53 games this year, then he got moved to the bench. While those have really paid off for the second unit, it is very inconsistent. And he said, look, this Warriors team doesn't have an identity. They're still trying to figure it out, and it's the end of the year. So a lot of this, I have to put on Steve Kerr. And I'm talking to Smitty, producer Smitty, right before he made this video talking about how they just signed Steve Kerr to a contract extension last month. Was it deserved? Absolutely at the time, but now you're leading the Warriors to possibly not even making it in the postseason, and now the Warriors have a contract with him through 2026. And I'm sitting here wondering, was that a bad move? Did Dunleavy kind of jump a little bit too quick? They haven't offered Klay Thompson an extension yet. Why do you think that is? Klay Thompson hasn't necessarily deserved a contract extension since he was moved to the second unit. That's when he really started to show signs of what he could do in the future. Steve Kerr, maybe a little bit too early. Did the Warriors make a mistake extending Steve Kerr? I want to hear your comments on this. I know a lot of people have been commenting down low about their frustrations with Steve Kerr. Now's your chance. Let me know. Comment why or why not. I want to break down. It looks like Steve Kerr is kind of focused on the offseason, in my opinion. With Kerr's contract extension underway, could Steve Kerr really be looking to the future rather than actually trying to play their absolute hardest right now? Because a couple of games ago, Steph Curry said that our motivation was to get that 6th seed in the Western Conference. Then after they lost a few games, he said, look, we're just trying to make it. We're just trying to stay up with these teams who are on a hot streak right now. Because it's really concerning to me the fact that Curry has only played over 32 minutes in 2 games since the All-Star break. And I get it. He had a bit of an injury when he was playing Chicago. You do not want to wear out your best player. So I understand where those restrictions are. But the fact that this is everything matters and you're not putting all of the emphasis on Steph Curry right now is a little confusing to me, which makes me believe, okay, Steve Kerr is either playing Steph Curry not as much because he wants to rest him, he wants to make sure he's good to go in the playoffs, or he's not playing him as much because he really doesn't care about the playoffs. He has just completely submissed to what the season has been and just wants to get it over with. Those are the only 2 reasons why he would either be playing or not playing Steph Curry, and I really find it hard to believe that he is trying not to make the playoffs and he's just given up. That's not who Steve Kerr is. But it doesn't make sense not to play your best player either. So I have a question for you. Are the Warriors a lost cause? Not to be a Debbie Downer on this entire show, but I'm just frustrated with what the Warriors have on their team. They have all the resources, minus a true big, to be one of the best players, best teams in the Western Conference, but nothing seems to be lining up, and it's just frustrating. Do you think the Warriors are a lost cause, or do they still have a little bit more gas left in the tank to turn it around? While you guys are commenting down below, my only ask for you guys is to go on ahead and hit that sub button for me, because the Rockets and the Warriors do play on April 4th. If they are still this close to the standings, we're going to be going live here on Warriors Today. So I want you guys to be all in. Come talk to me. Come hang out. And as always, just join a community of 62,000 Warriors fans.